raising, lots of it. And that's why we're here today. That's why we're at Christie's office, and she wins. We want her to do the same thing. And we want the NDP to say now that they're going to raise welfare rates, and we want them to spend the time from now until the election explaining why that will actually be cheaper in the long run than not raising it and leaving people in poverty. So that's why we're here today. What do we want? Raise the rates. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Raise the rates. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Raise the rates. When do we want it? Now. Okay.
Well, you know, I never walked this far in a long time, but you know, I feel really good because you know, as a community, we're all coming together from all areas here. It's so cool, you know, and I'm just so empowered right now that, you know, we got to remember that we're doing this for the poor, you know, and we are part of that category, you know, that we got to remember that, you know. I don't have any life insurance for the future of my grandchildren, you know, and I wish I did. So many of us, we're in that position right now, and it's time that we all stick together and really convince the government we need to have these rates raised so we can have decent housing, meet the basic necessities for the future of our children, grandchildren, and also our great-grandchildren are going to be our leaders one day. Armed relations.
All right, Victoria.
When I was speaking earlier, I forgot to say something. Often when I'm at these marches, I'm told by higher income people to get a fucking job.
I heard that.
You know what? I had a job. And then I needed to be on welfare realistically for like a month. But there was a 5-week wait list. By the time that 5 weeks was gone, my money was gone. I couldn't pay rent, so I lost my place. I lost everything. All my clothes, DVDs, you know, books, pictures, everything. So we need to not just raise the rates, but streamline the process. So when you need the help, you get the help.
We also have a problem with families having their children apprehended, and within a month and a half, they're evicted from their places because not only do they lose their family allowance, but they have a reduction on their social services, and then there's too many expectations put on the families, on the mothers and fathers, to try and jump through these hoops to get their kids back, which oftentimes 2, 3, 4 years later, they're still in care.
But I think we have a speakers list, and I don't know who's next.
Fraser.
Hi. Asked 10,000 units of social housing. How are we going to pay for that? That's a good question. A real good question. What about all the jobs that are going to be created by building those social housing units? About 85 cents on every dollar that the government spends comes back to them in taxes in one form or another. So it is not that expensive. It gives jobs to our youth. We have to do it. Herb would love one of those jobs, building his own place. Yeah, he could build one for me.
As long as it was my own place, yeah, not a condo.
You know? It's a no-brainer. We have to do it. It costs too much not to do it. Thank you.
Yeah, Richard, you want to say something?
Yeah, as we stand here, I just wonder, geez, how nice would it be not to wake up every morning in that survival mode, worry about where my meal's going to come from because of the lack of welfare. You know, it's not even welfare. We need a decent place to live. Housing it should be on the platform for Adrian Dix as well. And I'd like to see the volunteer supplement come back into the picture, because a lot of us are volunteers and we're not being paid for it. Some of us are. I'd like to see that on the platform. But I tell you, even I might be on GB2, but just going to the doctor's office all the time because of not having a decent place to live, I think that it'd save a lot more money if I had a higher income in order to support myself the way that everybody else does in this neighborhood and in this world. Canada is such a rich country, you know, and it really makes me laugh because it's such a rich country. We got rich people like us. Thanks.
I just wanted to suggest that maybe they reinstate taxing the rich, like they could actually help pay to raise the welfare rates. Thank you.
Oh yeah, I've been doing that. It's in between speakers, like about every 8-10 minutes, right? So it's easier to upload.
Thanks everyone. We made it. I can't believe it. Yeah. 14 kilometers all the way from Christy Clark's office to Adrian Dix's to deliver the message to raise the welfare rates. Yes. BC, British Columbia, has the highest poverty rate in Canada. But we're one of only 2 provinces and territories without a poverty reduction plan. Everywhere else across Canada, except for us in Saskatchewan, are tackling poverty directly instead of dealing with the consequences, which is what we're doing over and over again. And the first stage of that plan would be to raise the welfare rates. Raise minimum wage, build social housing, bring in universal childcare, all of these pieces of the picture that are squeezing everyone's income. People can't afford food in British Columbia. What is the world coming to? Thanks very much. I'm so proud of you all. So glad to be a part of the day.
Thanks, Trish. Does anyone else want to say anything?
Hi, my name's Donna. I've been putting up with NDP for all my life, and I'm not going to put up with it. So, I think we should give them the letter.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kelly Knight from First Nations, Cree and Free, and I'm here to support welfare, raising the rates on welfare. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Bill, did you want to say something wherever you are? Bill?
Okay, again, thanks everybody for doing this. This is amazing. When we started organizing this, we weren't sure what we were going to get and what we were going to, how it was going to go and how people were going to cope with all that walking, but it's been brilliant. But we need to do more. We have to keep up the pressure, and we have to keep making the argument. To us, it is so obvious that poverty is the worst political strategy a government can adopt. And let's be clear, poverty is a government strategy. It doesn't happen by accident. The politicians decide what welfare rates are. The politicians decide what the minimum wage is. The politicians decide to privatize and contract out unionized workers and cut their wages. Most of the people who are poor in British Columbia are poor because the government decides they're poor. And we need to say to the politicians, how many people do you want to live in poverty? When you vote to cut the taxes for the rich, what else do you vote to cut? You vote to cut welfare. You vote to cut education, health service, so the rich, who are already obscenely rich, can be even richer. And what do they do with the money? Do they invest it in British Columbia? No. The corporations in Canada are sitting on, get this, $600 billion, which they are not investing. And the government still says we have to cut taxes for the rich and corporations. If the NDP is struggling about how to afford the things they say they believe in, we have a very simple answer for them. Start by taxing the rich. Start by reversing all of the tax cuts to the corporations and the rich that the Liberals did. We know who the Liberals run BC for. They run it for the rich. What we want to know from the NDP is who do they run the province for? For the poor, for the working people, for ordinary people, or are they also going to run the province for the rich? We also make the point that tackling poverty, ending poverty, makes financial sense for the province as a whole, because we waste money on health, education, crime, lost economic opportunities by having people in poverty. But there is a catch, because some people benefit because many are poor. There's a phrase that there are millionaires because millions are poor. So some people benefit for keeping us in poverty. So it's a political choice. Do you help the few and keep the many in poverty, or do you tackle poverty, which helps in the long run the overall economic strength of society, and more importantly, it makes for a better and a healthier life for most people? We know the health costs of poverty. You can't live on welfare. We ask people to live for 1 week on $26, which is what somebody on welfare gets. We had dietitians, we had chefs, trained experts in eating, and none of them could make it through the week on a healthy diet on $26. And yet the government says, we're fine. We'll let you live on $26. We get $61 a day for food when we're eating away from home. Somebody on welfare gets $610. If I remember it rightly, an MLA gets nearly $2,000 every 2 weeks. So they vote for their pay and they vote for welfare's pay. Maybe when they're voting for their pay, it should be linked to welfare. You know, you raise welfare, you guys get a pay rise. You cut welfare, you guys get a pay rise. That's the way we should make policy in this province. Justice for all, not charity. We want justice, not charity. So raise the rates now. Raise the rates now.
Raise the rates now. Raise the rates now. Raise the rates now. Raise the rates now. Raise the rates now. Raise the rates now. Raise the rates now. Raise the rates now. Raise the rates now.
Does anybody else want to share a few thoughts?
I also got 2 jobs.
Pardon?
I got 2 jobs.
Okay. We think Adrian Dix is going to turn up in a few minutes. Do you feel that you want to stay and talk to him? Okay. Okay, people. So, does anybody want to say anything now? Or do you just want to chill out and chant for a few minutes? Come on, let's have some energy. I know we're tired. It's been a long day. Yeah. Alice, give us a song.
I feel bad I didn't think to teach you guys this earlier so that you could have sung it while you were marching, but maybe Richard now will try to teach it now.
Make sure you keep it.
Well, I went down to the rich man's house and I took back what he stole from me. I took back my dignity. I took back my dignity. Well, I went down to the premier's house and I took back what she stole from me. I took back my dignity. I took back my humanity. And now she's under my feet, under my feet, under my feet, under my feet. Ain't no system gonna walk all over me. I'll do it one more time. Ready? You start. Well, I went down to the rich man's house and I took back what he stole from me. I took back my dignity. I took back my humanity. Well, I went down to the premier's house and I took back what he stole from me. I took back my dignity. I took back my humanity. And now he's under my feet. What? Under my feet. What? Under my feet. What? Under my feet. Ain't no system gonna walk over me.
Nobody should put up with that crap.
Well said.
You mean my singing or Richard's?
I think that rates should be raised and jobs must return to Canada because jobs are going away and money is going away and we are left with nothing here in Canada. It's not fair and justice must be restored. Otherwise we have the situation here when mothers have to sell their body for the sake of money to supply for the rates that are not sufficient. Thank you.
I don't really know what to say right now.
A mother doesn't have to sell their body or always have to give money instead of selling your body. That's what I say.
Well, you know, we do need to raise the rates. Because with rates so low, families are forced to take part in the underground economy. Which also, survival economy, which also forces the ministry and MCFD, I can't even say the name, but it makes them keep their eyes on their families. So not only are we stricken with poverty and looked at, frowned upon in the first place for that, but people are forced to take part in survival economies and their children are taken from them for that. And that is wrong. You know, they say we don't have any money to build social housing, but they just built, what, a 300-unit remand center on Burnaby. Cost billions of dollars. You know, we want homes, we don't want jails. We want justice, we don't want charity.
Windows not far.
You know, I come from a feasting culture. The Channel people, the Nisga'a people are feasting cultures. And when the visitors that never left came and saw our people sharing freely, well, they thought we were sharing freely. But no, we're following one of the most sacred laws of this land. That's the law of reciprocation. If you help my family out in need, you're going to make damn well sure I'm going to work twice as hard to pay your family back. So it wasn't charity. It was helping you in your time of need, understanding it'll come back, maybe not tomorrow, maybe not next week, maybe not even for another generation. Because we're an oratory culture, we told stories. So we would always pass down the knowledge. This is the family that helped us out. If they ever need help, it is our family's honor-bound duty to help them. What we need to do is bring this law back, the law of reciprocation. Do what you can with what you have, but don't give more than what you can afford. That's what my people were all about. That's my understandings of my elders' teachings. I'm kind of just stalling here. I'm hoping somebody else will tag me out. Actually, is everybody familiar with the two lions? Well, the settlers call it the two lions over in the north. The two lion peaks, the twin mountain peaks. Yeah. Yeah, the two sisters. In antiquity, it was called the Two Sisters. And I'll tell you a story. A long, long time ago, all the nations across BC were warring. And the chief, the local chief at the time, was a powerful chief. He had 2 daughters. He loved them. He doted on them. He said, anything you want, I'll buy it for you. I'll trade it. I'll trade for it. And if they won't give it to me, I'll take it by force. because they were coming of age, and this is a very sacred time for young women. He said, anything you want, I'll give it to you, or I'll take it. And the two daughters said, we want you to go to every single one of your enemies, and we want you to make peace. And this chief already promised his two daughters whatever she wanted. So he sent out his fastest canoes all over the nations and talked to his fiercest enemies and said, I want you to come to my house and have a feast with me, and we'll make peace. And every single one of his enemies was touched by this. So of course they had to come. And they had a huge, huge feast, make peace, all across BC for the first time in a long time. And the supernatural beings that are present, even amongst us right now, they saw this and they were so touched by the strength and the wisdom of these two young women that they turned them into the two mountaintops, or the two mountain peaks. The Gumsiwas, the visitors that never left, calls it the two lions, but no, it's the two sisters. And they're there to remind us that peace is just one feast away. One feast away. One dinner away. You can make peace. You'd be surprised. Feed someone good, and they won't be mad at you anymore. I guess that's the moral of the story. Oh.
Please constitute for bonding ship.
I don't think so. And you've often seen me raise my hands like this. You know, you might not know why we do that. It's got a couple of reasons. One, it shows you I have nothing in my hands. I have no weapons. I'm harmless right now. Or I could raise my hands even higher. And it literally means I hold you in high regard. So, those of you that walked with us, those of you that joined, I hold you all in high regard. I don't know if Adrian thinks it's coming.
Somebody phone her?
Where's Mama in there? I'm gonna have a seat. What are they doing? What are you doing?